Oh, hello. Welcome back. Welcome. Hello, Annie Bear. Hello, Miss Randy. Yeah, pretty much anything can be a portal. I'm going to scroll right back up and we're going to cross our fingers because I can hear an airplane already. I know. You like my corgi, did you? Oh, thank you, Annie Bear. Wow, Rossi. We have Randy. We have painting the trees. I love the trees. Love the trees. Yep. Let's see. That's not showing. There it goes. Yeah, I feel anything can be a portal. Yes, absolutely, Randy. Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, why limit ourselves? That's just it. Exactly. If you think that there's a portal in a seashell, go for it. If you think there's a portal in a snail shell, go for it. You'd be surprised at what can be portals. And hello, Paul Freed. How are you? Welcome back. And home in Pennsylvania. So good to be back. No place like home. Yeah, but you've traveled a lot of other places too, just to see if that's someplace that you want to be. Let me see. I wish I never felt the fear. Fear is a frequency. Sometimes I do, whether it's the collective or my own. We are the creators. Randy's correct. We are the creators. Yes. Hi, Paulie. Welcome. A lot of times what the fear is a warning signal. It's like your car going beep, 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 beep. It's a warning. It's an alert. It's kind of like the buzzer going off. It just goes, hey, this isn't correct. And so we'll go ahead and use that. It's a pattern interrupt. Take a look around. Sometimes the fear that you're having coming in, like you have noticed, it's either the collective or the ancestral, and so you can get the course corrected on that one. Well, Paul, I hope you had a lot of fun with Miss Lillian. Hi, Lori Hunsinger. Yes, we are going to be doing some energy balancing in here. So if you are new here, I speak to Lemuria and Lemurian astrology and Lemurian Light Codes. And the other thing that I do that I was doing before the dolphins and the whales came along and bumped me, I do energy healing and energy meridian balancing. And so we kind of opened up with a channel anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and start moving some of the energy while I'm sitting here chatting and going through the chat and catching up with everybody. Loved the ocean. The power on that was amazing. Loved it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. There's nothing quite like the Pacific Ocean. It takes a bit to get used to too. Well, some people run forward and they embrace it immediately, but yeah, I got laughed at, but it just took me at least a day or so of just standing back at the edge of the water, well back from the edge of the water, and just staring at it and getting a bead on it. I didn't really. It took me some time to come to grips, I guess, with the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, Rossi, Paul's asking. We're going to put you in the hot seat here, Paul. Did you have fun? Did you have fun in California? Angelic, I feel, is at the edges. Is that my star family? Yes. Wonderful. Well, Paul, if you want to talk and you loved it, that's beautiful. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine too. We understand. The whales. The whales are amazing beings. And we have whales not only in our physical forms here, but we also have whales in etherical form. And whales that we have, they are not just the wisdom keepers, they are the light code keepers. And so that's where a lot of the energy is coming in. And whenever I got bumped about 3 years ago, that was just it. It was the cosmic whale that was coming in and was doing that. You were looking for me. Oh, how sweet. Well, I wasn't going to be down in California. Well, I'm an Oregon Coast gal. Although, hey, you cannot beat the Northern California redwoods. Those are some of the most amazing sentient beings if you ever get the opportunity to travel to the land of giants in California and to experience the redwoods for yourself, go for it. They are incredible. Alrighty, so I'm going to load up my slide deck. Before I do, I wanted to ask a quick question of everybody. Do you prefer me to do slides on the shows? Does that help you? Or do you prefer to see me bigger? I know right now I usually have a frame of some sort around me, but it kind of went huge. Jedediah Smith State Forest Park. Huh? A dear friend is going to go to the Joshua Tree tomorrow. Any advice for her? Stay grounded, and I'm hearing she needs to bring a black stone in her, a black stone or a white stone in her pocket, either one. I'm hearing grounding, although this might be questions for Paul. I'm just jumping in with what I'm getting. A lot of hiking on the Mist Trail. Oh, that's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. You're welcome. Yeah, the energy down in Arizona area is very unique. Same with New Mexico. It's very distinctive. And that was just the advice that popped in that I could hear right quick. But go ahead and answer for me. I can do either way. I've got a bunch of slides loaded that we can use, or like I said, we can sit here and stare at my face. Either way, I did pick a flower for you. This is one of our roses. Hey, Polly, welcome back. Yeah, I just love the frequencies that come from a rose, though. Thank you. Yeah. Our next journey may be New Hampshire at the end of summer, maybe. Oh, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Okay. Well, since I'm not getting an answer, hey, fellow wombat, I'm just going to load that up onto the stage so you can see me smaller. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, I wanted to focus on energy healing today. And as I was saying, a lot of times I do actually do both. And you're going to find in the replays, you're going to see a lot of timestamps underneath so that you can hop directly to different areas, different codings, different things that we're working with. And so what I do is I will work, oh great, thank you. I will work on a quantum level. And so that means that it's actually extending through not only time and space. Well, that was just it. The first getaway is that it will be timeless. We're here either way. Wonderful. Okay, I didn't know. With me being smaller, I didn't know if that bothered people or not. So I just wanted to find out. So I just thought it would be helpful. I mean, I created the little corgi guy. I thought it would be fun. But he's standing. The beach behind him actually is from Lincoln City, the north end of town. If you stand at one of the beaches, like right off the casino, it used to be Rose Inn and Dory Cove, or the original, what do you call it, landmarkers. But that's what it is behind him. It's the north end of Lincoln City. We used to live, gorgeous. We used to live in Northern California in the Redwoods before I was the sensitive, and I am feeling I can remember them now, supporting myself. Yes, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Welcome back, De La Muse. I'm already working around the energy around the head. And as I said, I've already got some energy that is beginning to flow. What I'm doing is I reach out through and I begin working with and moving congestion off in and around the body. We have cranky today. There's a lot of energy that has been coming through And that was certainly something that I was going to speak to as I'm doing the energy work. If you're sensitive to energy, you may actually feel me coming in and around your body. So if you're sensitive, at the moment I'm around the head and the base of the skull, but I'm also going to be working at different variations around the body itself. If you do not feel me, do not worry. You cannot mess this up. Your body knows what it's doing. And so it's going to be following along with the energy as we go. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's moving around the planet, a lot of bringing the energy in, and a lot of assimilating the energy into our own light body. And sometimes that can be, it can be really irritating, because sometimes what happens is if you have seen or if you've used to experience somebody that has taken a microphone and put it next to a speaker, that feedback squeal that happens, that's what you end up with that can cause that irritation as well. We saw where they made the Planet of the Apes, saw Disneyland as well. Amazing. They're really good at what they do at Disneyland. I know that for sure. I've gone to Disney Worlds before, and they really go over the top with making sure everybody's got one heck of an experience. Okay, right now I'm around the shoulders, but as I was saying before, you don't need to be sensitive. You don't need to feel this to actually have it work. Your energy is going to be following along with this. And it is timeless. So if you find it soothing, if you found it really helpful for, right now I'm on the right shoulder. There's a lot of tension in and around. And so this week has been really interesting for me, just to give a quick share. There's been a lot of photon energy, and as Annie Bear noticed, there's a lot of it that's coming in at night. And I've been getting a lot of upgrades, not so much to the heart, but to the high heart. And thankfully, my guides that are doing this, or the integration team that is doing this, which is mostly me, myself, and I at the moment. Yeah, and hypnicity, that's where I'm at right now. I'm in and around and just kind of all over that right shoulder blade at the moment. And if it's your left shoulder that's bothering you, don't worry. We'll be right over there in just a few. But what I was saying is my high heart was really being lit up. It happens a lot at night. Yeah, I felt energy being pushed down throughout my entire body this whole weekend, just like what Rossi is experiencing. That's pretty much what I had too. Mine came in pulses. I don't know if that's helpful for anybody else to hear, but it's very interesting to watch and to experience as it's coming through. And right now, my little twinkle light friends that are in the sky, very active. If you get the opportunity, there is a lot of sun codes, a lot of light codes that are coming in through the sunshine right now. Now, if you are in an area of high heat, then go ahead and you can stay in the shade and then look at the ground. You can actually, because this is what I've been doing, is just looking at the ground, and you can pick up the light codes. You can see the light codes straight from that. To me, they look like if you're looking at a like a lake or a pond, and you see the dazzling on. Sorry, there's a heavy airplane that just went right overhead. Go away. We want our computer to work, but it will look like a dazzling light. That's one of the things that I've been experiencing. Ooh, beautiful mind. Feels like the electricity, and it starts at my feet. That is gorgeous. The Archangel meditation really helps. That's beautiful, Annie Bear. Yeah, I've had that before too, and it feels like you're saying, a tingly, but it's like welling up from Mother Earth. Super cool. So at the moment, I'm still working underneath the right shoulder blade, and I suspect that we have something that we will be doing a little bit further on. So I'm going to migrate down through the right arm. I can feel it now, the energy. I'm outside in the sun. Ooh, perfect with ice water. Gorgeous. My back has been sore, not normal. Maybe I need sunshine. Actually, Randy, it wouldn't hurt you. Polly's saying I'm sitting outside right now. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now be alert if your area is an area of high heat. I don't want anybody getting heat exhaustion. Put a hat on your head because we don't need anybody getting tagged with sunshine. The old lifeguard in me pops up. Heat exhaustion. Which stinks, actually. Heat exhaustion is terrible. But there are ways that you can experience the sun and the warmth and the healing and the energy from it without being harmed. And you do it in small increments. Right now, we are on the right elbow, forearm, and the entire wrist structure. I'm going to bring in some more light. Actually, let me backtrack just a little bit. Someone's got a blockage, and so we have, the energy's not coming down that outer forearm is what the problem is. Let me see where that blockage is at. It's somewhere on the shoulder itself. Paul Freed, my eyes are open. See if you see the people inside the sunshine. I'm going to wait here a second, see if I can get that to pop open that channel. The other nice thing is this is not the energy flow that I'm doing is universal. So it's not just for humans. So any of your pets, any of your dogs, cats, cows, alpacas, feathered friends, some of our cockatoos, some of our cockatiels, parakeets. Beautiful. Polly's saying it's sunny, but 70 degrees there. All good. Yeah, it is. But yeah, it is universal, so everybody's going to be able to experience this. And if you're not here on the live, don't worry. It is active, absolutely 100% active on the replay. If you don't hear me calling out a body part that you're needing work on, tendon in the right wrist, old wound that will flare when I work around my flower gardens. Lori, you might find it helpful to sit with your hands, palms up in your lap. I'm on the right hand itself. Yeah, this was a constriction somewhere around the elbow itself, but also it went up into the back side of the right shoulder, just behind the ball joint. One of the meridians was kind of pinched off, for lack of another word. So we're going to open that channel back up again. It's kind of like whenever you see a stream and there's boulders that have jumped down into the stream. So we're just going to try clearing some of this for everybody. You're welcome. I just got an almighty sneeze from somebody's dog. It looks like a black lab. You're welcome. Sneezing again. That's great. Sneezing actually is one of those signs that you have, bless you, there it goes again, that you're moving energy. I would say that pupper definitely needed that energy moved. Okay, let me just power focus here on the hands themselves. Sometimes it can be helpful to imagine that there's diamond white gloves, just really gentle but tingly white, like champagne, scrubby bubbles going all in and around the hands themselves, especially the palms. Beautiful. And we're going to come back up the inner forearm. We have bear by the woods, big black bear. Oh, well, that's interesting, Paul Freed. Mild tenderness on the inner right wrist. I am outside listening. Fascinating. Well, while we're talking here, you are so welcome. Holding my hand up is helping. Beautiful. You're very, very welcome. Yeah, it has to do with the way that your fascia wraps around your body. And sometimes it can get super duper tight. And by just sitting there with your hands, palms up in your lap, that can take the pressure off and bring some pain relief, which is pretty important. And just for Disclaimer purposes, this is just for entertainment purposes only. This is not meant to diagnose, do anything, treat, blah, 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 cure, yada, yada, yada. Nothing medical, nothing at all. We're working with the light body. But biomechanically, if you sit there that way with your hands up in your lap, palms up, it takes the pressure off the fascia. At the moment, I'm on the inner upper arm, and I'm going towards the armpit itself. Now, if you have challenges, a lot of times whenever we have cold flu seasons, sometimes pollens will cause a swelling in the armpit. Thank you so much, Annie Bear. And so I'm working on that because there's a lymph gland that is in not just the armpit itself, but also there is one that's in the crook of the elbow. And of course, those work in tandem with your immune system. And so we're just gently asking it to clean and clear and head it towards your lungs, the vena cava, which will, of course, move it down towards your digestion system and allows your body to cleanse. Now we're going to go back up into the neck again. Yeah, just pretty much where I targeted just now. I have a lot of something in my throat energy. Anyway, there's a lot of people that are having things right now in the throat. Some of it can be mechanically tightness, of course, from if you're near or the winds have carried the fire debris, the particles in the air. But some of it can also be because we don't feel safe to be able to speak our voice. And again, some of it can just be challenges from pollen in the air. If you put pollen underneath a microscope, you would be shocked at how jaggedy and icky pollen is. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen the exterior of a sweet gum pod whenever the seeds fall to the ground. If you've ever been barefoot and stepped on a sweet gum tree pod, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what pollen looks like when you've got it under a microscope. So no small wonder it actually hurts a lot. When you get it in your eyes, you can feel kind of that gritty thing. Yeah, the back of the neck is where I'm working. In fact, you can see me working right now on the back of the neck for everything. But you can use saline solution if your eyes are gritty. Okay, humans, what I need you to do is take your jawline into a neutral so that we're level with the ground if you can. Not high, not low, but just level with the ground. And then what we're going to do with our shoulders is just roll them up and then imagine them as two big wings or seashells. And you just kind of want to press them together just slightly and then lower them down away from your ears. Do not strain. Just do it very gently. Okay, I can feel that. If you're going ouch, 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 that's because yours is scaffolding that is. So what I mean by scaffolding, it means that your feet and your hips, it's going to go from the ground up. So you're going to get a bit more relief as we go along. So we're just going to move. We're going to move to the left-hand side. I'm just going to balance that on the left side of the neck. You are so welcome. Amanda Carroll, listening at work. You're very, very welcome. So we're just going to kind of balance on the left side, and we're going to work on the left shoulder, top of the shoulder. Whoever has that, because I heard you, because you're like, wow, I can't do that. My feet, my hip, my under the shoulder blade thing on the right-hand side. That's to do with the structuring and the way that you're standing. And so come back to it later. My neck is cracking. Yeah, it's going to be doing a lot more cracking because we're going to get some deep pops from that. It's the top of the hip, and it is also the knee and the feet, the way that the feet are. And the feet will feel really, really neat whenever we get to the feet. But right now we're working on the left shoulder and left shoulder blade, and we're definitely going to work under the left shoulder blade because we stuff a lot of things underneath that left shoulder blade, just like we do the right shoulder blade. And I will have to say this again. There's a lot of stuff that we will take on board from the world. It's not our stuff. It never was. But as humans, we try to get through our day, and so we'll shove stuff underneath the carpet. And that's what causes this tension. But there are meridians that are underneath your carpet and underneath your shoulder blade. And it does have to, there are a lot of things that are in and around for the digestion. So you have like your stomach meridian, your small intestine meridian, your large intestine meridian, heart, pericardium, all of those will be in and around the shoulder blade itself. Yep. So burping is another sign. Somebody did a nice release just there. That's great. Sorry. A lot of times I'm the easiest conduit for the energy. So I'll reflect what they're having coming in. That's fascinating. I'm actually getting a light code in through my right ear right now. It's pretty high pitched, but it also sounds underwater at the same time. Oh, and just as soon as I said it, it went away. That was interesting. There it goes. Okay, now we're on the left joint, ball joint of the shoulder itself. And again, if you can just move your shoulders, we want to have them back away from your chest, shoulders back and down, away from your ears. You can feel it. That's wonderful. This is really cool too, because the more that a lot of you people have been showing up absolutely week after week after week after week. And it's allowed you to feel more into the energy work, into the field. So you're getting to have more of a direct feeling and experience of what's going on. At the moment, I'm on the left upper arm on the outside. Somebody has been really power using that left bicep. It feels like yard work, maybe. Yeah, just a little bit of overdue. Oh, thank you, Annie Bear. Please like and share. Yeah, if you know somebody that needs a little bit of pain relief, this is really helpful. And a lot of times I have people that if you are in need of sleep, this can be very helpful too, because they'll just drift right on off to sleep as well. Yay, I come back more than once. I'm on the left forearm now. That's wonderful, Paul. There we go. Sorry, dolphin. They do that funny little ha 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 sound, clicky sound. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was something that I wanted to share. I'm wearing my raven shirt or my crow shirt today because I have a pair of beautiful crows. It has been a while since I've seen them, been a minute, and they came back. If I'm not, go see Debbie. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, they came in this morning, and I love my crows because they make a calling sound that sounds identical to my laugh. So whenever I hear them, it just sets me off laughing, kind of like the dolphins do. And but yeah, it was beautiful to see. They're a really pretty young pair. I'm not sure that the Stellar Jays were that thrilled with it. Hi, Utica. We're busy working on energy channels today, and right now I am on the left-hand side, working on the left hand and wrist. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I've worked on the right wrist already and the right side of the body. My husband has crows that follow him looking for peanuts. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Hey, yesterday, the other experience that I had was seagulls. We were out shopping, grocery shopping, and my hubby was in the shop doing the shopping for me because I have to say that my knees are still not into the whole walkie thing just yet. Not on concrete. And so I was observing the seagulls that were circling around the parking lot. Somebody had tossed out a tidbit, so of course they were super excited. And then we left and we went to a different shop that was across the highway. And I'm on the left hand itself, the inner palm and also the outside palm. And so what was wild was as I sat there in the parking lot at that place, I began noticing here came the seagulls again, and they were acting just like Totoroa. They were hanging out on the wind, and they were coming to see me, and which was really, really cool. Wonderful. I will do the recap and we'll join for now and receive whatever is live. Beautiful. That's wonderful to see you again, Utica. It's great to see you in here. And so we're coming back up the left inner arm. Hang on a second, gang. Somebody's left hand. I suspect that we have a left-handed person that's really overused that left hand. So let's just get some TLC. You should probably feel that coming through the left hand, the left palm, and the inner wrist. Yeah, I can hear you. That feels better. You're very welcome. Okay, let's track back up the inner arm. TLC to the elbow. Cleaning and clearing. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, the crows are it's interesting. They're very smart. They will follow people that, um, gonna listen through the earbuds, swishing appreciation. Polly's left-handed. It might have been you, Polly. If you have overdone, it felt like somebody who's been really powerlifting something, the bicep hurt, also the left hand. So somebody's been overdoing it with their left hand, which is, the dominant writing hand or task hand. Okay, now we're in the armpit. All right, gang, we're going to go a little bit back up underneath the shoulder blades. I want to get some of the interior thoracics, which is pretty much, there it goes, over the rib cage. There we go. But some people actually, if you have people that can't sleep, as I was saying, you can share this with them, because a lot of times I will put people to sleep. And it's not intentional. It's just what's happening is they're encountering the higher frequencies, the higher energies that I'm putting out there in the field. And their body kind of goes offline so that they can pick up the energy and integrate it into their own energy system. But the side effect is they usually get a really decent sleep. Okay. If you're ticklish, I'm on the ribs right now, both sides, okay? So don't worry. It's just, there it goes. That's a nice release. Somebody's horse. That's nice. Now, throughout the course of this, if you do any yawning, sneezing, burpee, tummy rumbles, passing wind, to some extent crying, or sometimes you'll have it where one of the limbs will try to stretch out in a different direction. That's energy that is moving. These are all physical signs that you've actually released, and you'll want to get yourself a drink of water. It just helps to flush it right on out of your body. And we're right now underneath the diaphragm itself. Sometimes when people say you should really take a deep breath and calm down, you can't. And that's because physically you're too clenched up. Some of that's biomechanical, and that's because it's at the opposite side, the other insertion point where the pelvic girdle is. And don't worry, because we're headed that way as well. But for now, I'm just kind of giving some relief to under the diaphragm. You may cough as we release some of that tightness that's in there. There you go. That's much, much better. Sometimes laying flat on the bed can give you the space that you need. And sometimes if that's not enough, you can bend your knees. If you're like flat on your back, and you can bend your knees and just your feet flat on the bed, that can sometimes give you the open space that you need in order to be able to take that deeper breath. Okay, we're headed now for the back, the lower back. This is the lumbar region. Not only do we hold a lot of aches and pains in here, but there's also gorgeous. I have a butterfly around me. In the fairy tale. Absolutely, Paul. Life can be a fairy tale. We've been so squished. You can't do that. That's just your imagination. You're away with the fairies. Well, quite frankly, I'd rather be away with the fairies and enjoying life. The medicine for this month is creativity. So if you can focus on, like Annie Bear was doing, painting, gardening, you can do video creations. You can do online creations if you don't have paint to be able to play with. There's a whole bunch of things. You can do artwork. You can do music. Okay, gang, I'm going to go quiet here for just a second because I actually need my speech center in order to be able to go a deep dive. I'm on the interior of the spine right now. But there are channels for our the three big channels that run down the lumbars on the either side will be the bladder meridian, the liver meridian, and the gallbladder meridian. Now, these are all heavy hitters because these are all detoxers. So I just want to get those nice and clean and flowing clearly. But this is more to do with the spine itself. Okay, I don't know who's been told this, but your spine is it's actually, especially, don't buy into the whole you're an old person, it's going to be like this, there's nothing we can do. We're going to bring down some energy from above and just bring this into your body itself. And we're going to clean and clear as we go through here and drag this down, because you actually have not only free will down here, but you have an insane amount of energy that can be brought down, that because a mental process you got told from an outside authority figure, don't buy into it. Science is discovering, and has discovered for years, that every cell in our body gets replenished, gets renewed. That means even the bones themselves. And so all we need to do is encourage more of your energy flow in and around. Beautiful. Now it's better. Okay, we're getting some gray where we had black earlier. We're going to go crank up the volume and turn that into juicy, juicy bones. And they're going to turn crystal in here in just a second. But for now, we're going to go from gray to beautiful white. Yeah, the spine itself, I don't know who got told that lie, but your spine was black, energetically speaking, and that's just nonsense. And I hear you, hardware, but you know, hardware and screws are not dead. Have you ever seen the old Disney movie of Herbie the Love Bug? It was about a Volkswagen bug that was very much alive and interacted with the people. So you can absolutely have very vibrational, supportive hardware in your body, and it can upgrade just as much as any part of your body can, in and around. There we go. We're going to upgrade the key codes in there. And we're going to upgrade the spinal fluid so that it's nourishing as we go along. I'm going to give some extra TLC to the lower lumbars. Everything in our body kind of levers onto this spot and at the base of the skull. So we're just going to kind of balance in between these two now. And this is where some of the pressure is coming from with the shoulder, top of the shoulder. Sometimes you'll get it almost like an ice pick underneath the shoulder blade, usually on the right-hand side, but it can be mirrored on the left-hand side as well. And yep, that has to do from that lower back. So we're just balancing the two energies right now. Now we're going to balance the energies between the lower back and the shoulder blades. Just wait for that energy to flow in. Gorgeous. I don't know who you are, but that black is now turned into a turquoise color. That's great. Let it be whatever color it wants to be, and let it move. Okay, now we're going to work on the lower hips. And there is a lot of fiddly little bits that happen in and around the sacrum. So it's your spine on your backside. And there's fiddly little bits that come in here. And this is usually one of our high tension places. We do a lot of sitting, but we also do a lot of walking and balancing. And it's not just the humans. This is another tricky little area. Sometimes our dog friends can end up with sticky stifles. That's a knee. And it will radiate up into that in the back as well. Three Dog Night. I saw them in concert. That was back in the 90s. They were really cool. Okay, we're going to keep doing this because there's another piece in here that's just not released just yet. That's better. Bring that energy down into the pelvic region, seat of knowledge. They look like elephant ears. If you ever see the pelvis, just an x-ray of the pelvis, they look like big elephant ears. Gorgeous. There we go. Great. Now we can move down the outer thighs. Sometimes it just takes the time that it needs. And then we're going to go down and around the knees themselves, predominantly on the outside. Yep. And that's where one of the tendons is. Gorgeous. Down that outer calf. The ankle. Yeah, I can feel that. Somebody's croup still has to pop. So it may shift. Let's get the feet first. And then we'll come back up and in there. Okay. Now we're going to do the feet. You're very welcome. Somebody's cockatoo tapping their little feetsies. That's so cute. Hey, beautiful. Ting points. Gorgeous. Now we're going to come back up the inner. So we're going to, yep, there is a good pop. I'm going to pause at the inner ankle. Bring the energy flow back up. And now we're going to go up the inner calves to the tender spot that's usually pretty tender underneath the knee, inner knee. There's a spleen point. That's so cool. Saw a YouTube short where they found a geode with a fossilized fairy in it. If that's the guy from Georgia, that was fascinating. I don't think that was AI with that fellow. It was a turquoise flash of light, and yeah, whenever they slowed it down, it was a fairy. He said he couldn't see it on the reel. Right foot pain. Sure. We're bringing that up through the inner thighs. We're going to go back down into the right foot. A little bit of extra on the toes on the right-hand side. That's usually where the shoulder pain on the right-hand side is tracking from. So if you have left pain on your left shoulder, okay, it'll be mirrored on your right side. Okay. Just gonna send some extra energy there. You're not the only one, Annie Bear. Some extra to the ball of the foot. Lower abdomen, both sides are hurting since yesterday. Well, we're coming up to the tummy here soon, Utica. Okay. Now we're going to track back up the inner legs, bringing the energy up. We're going to come up into the lap itself. You're getting really sensitive to energy, Paul. Okay. Now we're going to do the fiddly little tendons and everything in and around. And whoever you are, let's go back to that interior pelvis just to see if we can. I heard that popped. That's good. You're welcome. Okay, let's go up a little bit higher because somebody on the interior right-hand side of the pelvis. There it goes. Beautiful, beautiful. And now we're coming up into the abdomen. You may hear some tummy gurgles or tummy rumbles. Just do the entire abdomen here. We're going to get that energy going the correct direction. There you go. Oops, somebody coughed. Better out than in, huh? Huh. Okay, Utica, I'm going to send just a little bit of extra energy to your lower tummy. Utica, I'm seeing the color green. It almost looks like hang on a second. See if I can get a message through here for you. Green is supportive. Juices. Herbs. And you'll find the way. So hopefully that will help you. Free this month will be 174 hertz, which is the solfeggio frequency that also helps for pain. Well, you have fun, Paul. Thanks so much for coming in. Yeah, you have a wonderful time. I'm using an opalite right now. Hi, Rush. How are you doing? We're working right now on some energy feeling. So if you have anything particular that you need extra energy, we've pretty much just balanced all of the energy fields. But if you'd like extra energy, thanks for hanging out with us, Paul. Did I miss something? Oh, that you're hurting. Okay, great. I'm still working a little bit on support for the lungs and also for the chest area. Some TLC, that region. And then we will come back. Always have some issues with the sacral. Yep. We're going to give some extra TLC just to the throat. That's a lot of support today. It took me a little bit longer today to do than I usually do, but that's okay. It's not a foot race. Usually takes me, if I'm hands-on, it'll usually take me about an hour to go with a horse. Okay, gang. Well, I'll keep working on the energy as we go through this. I'm going to see what I have left on the slide deck here. Oh, yeah, my Lemurian codes. And of course, our beautiful bubble techniques. And for Lincoln City again. As I was telling you about the puppy that we just had, you can see some of that skyline, well, ocean line landscaping. This is Lincoln City. And I have not done any of our Lemurian light coding this week. One of the things, and Paul, I know you just bolted on me, unfortunately, but our main focus this week was more for the energy stuff. But I want to do some Lemurian coding specifically this week too. So if you'd like, what we can do is energetically, let's all go through some of the Lemurian light coding. And I want to do a specific new technique that we'll be utilizing to Tukipinga Maui, which is the net of Maui. But let's start off with our usual multi-dimensionality. Tihe, ori, ora, mahakawatahi it ingwa te to iri te otowana. Wayu tapu. It ingwa tafenui tararani te kitao. Wayuatapu. It ingawa the fire tama tuatama. Wayuatapu. Tie ori ora. Yep. Okay, now we're going to do a set of undoing and doing. I in ma eb nu e no to ep o ul e te I u pe o u pe I un ul o ep tano nu eb ma il I poata hakta toropa potehi tuma kakima kakika naro hawa tu takima takika ta e tu te upo. Okay, gang, we're going to try this. I've only done this morning, and it kind of made me a little bit dizzy, but we're going to go ahead and do Tukupinga Maui, and I'm going to do a combination with this. So, Unra ta Tukupinga Maui. Unra rehu Tukupinga Maui. Maki Tukupinga Maui. Wipaka Tukupinga Maui. Tika Tukupinga Maui. Toho Tukupinga Maui. Sa Tukupinga Maui. Sa Tukupinga Maui. Toho Tukupinga Maui. Tika Tukupinga Maui. Wipaka Tukupinga Maui. Maki Tukupinga Maui. Rehu Tukupinga Maui. Ta Tukupinga Maui. Great. Let's see what happens with that. Let everybody come back into planet Earth here. Serious power codes. Very similar to the undoing. Which means what I mean by that is those are specific codes that helps to collapse any negativity or negative stories. And so we're clean slating and we're using that as a scalar energy to bring things back to balance into a 0 point is another term for that. That way, if things are looking not quite the way you want, you can always do this. Gives us a fresh start. And of course, I added the bubbles on here because the bubble technique is really important, especially if you're an empathic person. So you'll want to be sure to set an imaginary bubble around yourself so that only your highest good comes through that bubble. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I think that was the main coding that I wanted to do. I'm just going to pop through the slides next. And yes, of course, our beautiful furries and feathered friends. They're very, very supportive. Did I put everybody to sleep? Scroll back up here just a second. Let me see. And I want one for third eye healing. Let's see, for third eye. Sound healers is nice. There's also a sound alchemist that I really like as well. And I think I've shared them before on my posts. So if you go over to my posts on my community page on my YouTube channel, you should be able to see posts that I've shared with them. Ah, wonderful. Okay, hide that one. Gorgeous. Well, the last thing that I wanted to share this week is that we are in what's called the Motu, which is the birth month. of the wombat. Great. That's wonderful. Annie Bear, remembering it is half the battle. I would say probably 3/4 of the battle, because we've been lulled asleep. Yeah, that's exactly it. Sound healers and sound alchemists. And so being able to stop yourself in the moment and go, hang on a minute, that's not me. Or hang on a minute, I'm picking up something from somebody else. Or I don't know where this is coming from. That is absolutely not my idea. And being able to just go ahead and, like you're saying, go outside, ground it out, hug a tree. If you cannot physically get outside, mentally imagine yourself hugging a tree, or mentally going for a walk, like along the beach or wherever your favorite grounding area is, because our imaginations are extremely powerful. But you need to be able to remember to do like the bubble technique. If you practice it by setting it in the morning, especially before you head out to go to work or to interact with people. I like to do it in when I'm in the grocery store parking lots, or if I'm at the post office. I like to reset it then. And depending on what's going on outside, I'll actively be placing a second or even a third bubble. Utica does utilize a third bubble around there. It's whatever helps you feel safest, so that it's only your highest good frequencies that are coming through those bubbles and into your space. One of the things that I've done too, because there's been times whenever I've been out and about and the energy, it's nothing to do with me. It's just, we live on the beach, and I recognize that there's a lot of times that people come here in their woohoo, they're into their party cups, or their other activities, or they're distracted because they've got their family here, and they've been saving up. This is, their once or twice a year that they get to come to the beach. And so sometimes there'll be really frantic energy coming off of those people. And so what I'll do is, after I have set my bubble, then I will imagine a huge rod of light that comes straight down from the central sun through the top of my head, and will come all the way down and into my feet and grounding into Mother Earth. And then I open that width of that pillar of light out extremely wide around me, so that it is nothing but you could almost imagine it like a wand of selenite, or just a really bright white diamond light, but it actually encompasses, and it's a little beyond what your bubble of light will be, so that it is just a pillar of light. And by holding that bigger space with that higher frequency, so that you're really connected to that high vibe, a lot of times that will help the energy field around you. That's part of the reason that those seagulls were busy following me yesterday. They could really feel into the magnetics, and they were following me. My voice in the out breath has been more beautiful, Annie Bear. Well done. Gorgeous. Perfect. Is the Alkean belt? Yes, you are correct, Annie. Not Annie Bear. Utica, you are correct. The central sun, the name is in the Alkean belt. That is correct. We are headed towards the Alkean belt. We're in the outer edge of it already. So that's where the photons are going to come from. Oh, gotta go in a minute. You are so welcome, Annie Bear. So welcome. Yep. As I wake up, I set the intent. And here we go. Yeah, for creativity. This has been my creativity. I've been busy this last week. But I find that if you're busy, and these are all shirt designs or print-on-demand designs that I've been doing for my stores, but I find if you are busy doing the creations, like Annie Bear was doing with the painting, or decluttering, doing something deep diving where you can deep focus, the creativity, lean into the creativity for this Motu, which means this month. That's the essence of this birth sign. And so by doing that, it will help you to align with not just your highest level of good as you're doing the creation cycle, but it is also the being of the Kopanui, the actual essence of the star being that represents the wombat, will be coming in and will be helping not just those that were born in this birth month, but all of us will get that essence, that flavoring coming in. And so it can really feed and fuel your creative projects this month. So be open to channeling that and having fun with it. And of course, a bit of whimsy and humor. My little piggy with the big butts. It's actually for a barbecue shop. And of course, we have Bigfoot at the beach. It's actually a Hawaiian beach. Oh, my creativity was eaten by two rats. They ate up the leaves. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's terrible. They ate the radishes. How rude. Yeah, they can be pretty, um, well, they like tender stuff. And of course, they love sprouts. So, little boogers. Very determined. Rats are very, very determined individuals. Yeah, I have one. I would love to shift whoever it is, male or female, from my home. They think that they're living with their bestest friend. And it's like, honestly, I really don't need you in or around my home. You need to find another home. That's the downside of being so much of my energy stuff with the animals. I'm like, wow, but everybody else gets to hang out with you. Why not me? You can hang out. Just sit outside, please. But I did want to bring the rose back up for us because it's so pretty. Plus, you can get codes from that as well. The different light codes. This is from my rose bush outside. She soaks up a lot of sun codes. That's one too. If you know the rose bush or you know the flowers, some of the flowers you can take the petals from, and you can just add a little bit of water, and you can let it soak for just a few minutes, and the water will take on the light codes, and then you can sip the water from the petals, and you can get the codes from that as well. So that's another method that you can do. Oh, squirrely squirrels. Yep. They also broke the rose bush. How rude. Sorry, I can hear one of my blue jays. Are there light codes to keep them away? The easiest thing that I've found for them really is to, uh, if you have a cat or another predator around, you can take just a little bit of their droppings, and it's a little gross, but yeah, you can take some of their droppings and just set it near to wherever it is that you don't want your rodents in. And a lot of times, just the smell, like cat urine, will chase them away. Because otherwise, they think they're hanging out with their friends. They don't understand why you would be keen to keep them out of your environment. To them, it doesn't make sense why they can't just walk over to your garden and eat some fresh sprouts or to be in your space. But you do need to remind them that that's your space. You're not going to have people just wander into an alpha wolf's den to hang out with them. So to some extent, you can utilize, like I said, predators. You can use a kitty cat's piddle, in order to just kind of naturally, instinctively encourage them to stay away. Yeah, they think I gave them lunch. Squirrels have been eating the mangoes from my trees. That's kind of a losing battle right there. The only thing I can say is with the squirrels and the mangoes, hopefully there'll be plenty enough mangoes for you to be able to enjoy it too. Or an electrical fence, kind of like deer. I've had people and they're like, how do I manage to get some of the peaches from my tree before the deer do? And it's like, put an electric fence around your tree. Otherwise, if you're really really lucky, you might be able to get the ones that are super high up. But yeah, fruit is a real treasure for them. And I struggle with it. I mean, it's one of those deals where it's like, no, I seriously, you've got to leave my space alone. I love you, I get it, but you've got to really, really stay out of my space. There's attacks on the fruit trees. Oh my word. Yeah, I cover the tree with a huge net. Saw that on YouTube. I wonder if that works. It might. I'm convinced deer are like goats sometimes, though. I mean, it's amazing how far up they can go. I do know that in the wilds, that's what the ferrets and the weasel family, what are those called? Pine martens. That's what the pine martens do. They go for the gray squirrels. It's kind of like in the areas where you have the pine martens, you'll see the red squirrels are the predominant squirrel species. There really won't be any grays in that region. I'm just going to scroll back here for a second. Hang out with these two. But the gray squirrels, they are too heavy, so they cannot get out onto the tips of the pine trees for the pine martens to escape the pine martens. So you'll see the red squirrels that live in that area. I put a pineapple tree around the trees, so only a few sprouts with a pineapple. Those pineapples are wicked. We used to have a pineapple in my indoor jungle store, and it's I don't know how people navigated around it truthfully, because when those pineapples get big enough, they've got serrations on those leaves. But that's a really good use of a pineapple. Should keep them away. 4 sprouts left. I'm pretty sure I put everybody to sleep. Rossi, did you have anything energy-wise, any extra energy that you needed? In case anybody's curious or you're lurking, I've still continued with the energy flow. It's just kind of been all over. No? Okay. I think to have put everybody to sleep by now. And we're just a little bit past an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and wind this one down for the week. Wonderful. Okay, everybody. Oh, put me to sleep. It's been a struggle for me. Utica, are you just struggling with like a lot of mind energy? You are so welcome, Daily's Muse. Lovely to have you here. Utica, it feels more like a brain structure. So yeah, you might just be utilizing your mind, thinking through things. Let's just do a little bit of extra energy for that. Oh, sleep deprivation, that stinks. Mhm. Well, do you catch naps throughout the day or do you sleep at night? And is it from the energy that's coming in or is it from your 3D world, your regular world? Sometimes, like I can remember growing up in the Midwest and we would have super high heat, it was well over 100 degrees for months on end, and you just really couldn't sleep. Um, you might be able to doze off at like 3 a.m. and try to sleep till 10, but by then the heat would start to build again and it would wake you up. But it took forever for the houses to cool off back then. We didn't have air conditioning. Everything was built and you just kind of worked with the drafts and everything. Yeah, yeah, sleeping from 4 a.m. At least you're getting about a 6 hour window, so that's good. You just need to extend it for a little bit longer. And sometimes, like I said, you kind of have to just work with not being able to sleep at nighttime. Sometimes the house is too cold. But if there is a way for you to sleep, maybe with a fan or something, if it's a situation where your room is too hot, you can try to find some sort of a way to cool down the bedroom and to darken it. And other people will try to keep the electronics from in that room and they'll just focus on just sleep. But if you can get it colder and quiet and dark, those are usually going to be your best bets. Yep, that's what I thought. It is way, way too hot. If you have the option of a fan blowing on you, aim it for not your head, but aim it for like the throat, the chest, but also the tummy area. And a lot of times by having your core cooled down. Also, Utica, with you being in India, look for something that's called a neem supplement. You should be able to find these quite easily. And neem is kind of like it'll act as the air conditioning for the body, but it will help to pull heat from the body. That's one of the I'm going to say this wrong. Ayurvedic herbs that works really well for the pitta and actually I think it works for all three, pitta, vata, and kapha. But neem is one of those cooling type herbs. And that might be something to do. Do I have to eat it or drink it? It should come in a pressed or a powdered form. For myself, it's kind of bitter, which is part of the cooling action to it. So I've never tried drinking it. I've always had it in a pressed capsule. It's been a powder, but it's been like a pressed capsule. And so I just swallow one or two of the capsules. And it didn't seem to need any kind of it. You could take it pretty much any time. Yeah, the powder form. And like I said, it's kind of bitter. So if you're going to try just taking it straight, what you might do is put a little bit at the back of your throat and hold your breath. Well, let me preface this by saying hold your breath, put a little bit of powder at the back of the throat, and then chug some water to get it down. Or just put it in a capsule. Or if you can find somebody that's already got it in a capsule. But neem is definitely one of those that should be available to you for cooling purposes, internal cooling purposes. Yeah. Alrighty, gang. Well, thank you so much for joining me this week. It's been fun. Hopefully, you got some relief, and yeah, it might help with this. Yep. Yeah, it is. It's very bitter, and that was why I suggested if you could go ahead and put it into a capsule. Sometimes it's easier. But yeah, I'm gonna wind this down, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today, everybody. If you want to, you can check me out at my website, debbiedemint.com. You're so welcome, Polly. I have available MP3s on that store that is pretty much what we went over today. Or if you're interested, I also do one-on-ones with people. And that's available through my contact me form. And you can see that in my stores. And of course, there's plenty of other resources. If you want to learn more about the Lemuria, there's all kinds of different print-on-demand items that are in there. But if you look at your birth sign, you'll be able to see on any of those. I put information about the signs themselves, so you can learn more in there too. Great. Well, you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of your week. Keep cool. And I love you. And so much wawa, as we say in Lemuria. Wawa and wawa nui. And I will see you next week. Bye.